Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can all go to once a week whenever it is movie night. Interesting people pop in to rent something, and we go through the films that they've loved across their life. And then when the store is quiet, I chat to my buddies about the films that we're watching on streaming platforms and out in cinemas. We're here to help you figure out what you can watch. All right, let's start the show. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Marigold?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm lekker, man.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Good.
It's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a great day. Today at the video store, Mandla Dube is going to pop in to rent something. He is a filmmaker. He was actually, funny enough, my lecturer.
Amazing.
At Wits TV rather a while ago. But has been doing incredible stuff. And his big film, his Netflix film, Heart of the Hunter, is going to be in your TV.
Amazing.
from this Friday, in the week that this episode's coming out, this coming Friday, and it also stars Bonko Khoza, who has popped in to rent something at the video store before. So we're very excited to have him come in, and I think it's going to be a good chat. For all of those who are new to the video store, welcome. I've got myself a lovely day here with Marigold, and we are going to have Mandla pop in. But after Mandla's chat, myself and Marigold are going to chat about what we're watching. I think with this film being a Netflix film, I think let's chat Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be cool to just talk about everything that you can currently enjoy on Netflix based on what we are enjoying, which we hope you appreciate our recommendations. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Should we? I think we should just get straight into it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Awesome.
Have you got something to do?
I do.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to organize.
You're going to organize?
I'm going to organize. Do some organization.
Like the rom-com shelf?
No.
Or the classic shelf? Which one are you?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you go organize that. This is Mandla popping in to rent something. How's it?
Hey man, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. Thank you so much
It's
for allowing me to your space.
It's so lovely to have you.
I've been meaning to reach out,
Yeah.
And then my wife and I got a place to stay here because our kids go up to school not far from you.
Yeah.
In Westcliff, and I walked over here one day, and that was the day that I reconnected with you fully, and I was like, "Wow, you're here."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been here for a while, Mandla.
No, it's okay. Time is relative. But you came into the bioscope once, and I think it was after a fair bit of time. It was like maybe after a year or so of going, when we were in Maboneng.
In Maboneng, yes.
And what was so great was that like both myself and Daryl
we're still there,
got your energy like immediately. Like you came in and you were like, you fucking did it, or something like that.
Yeah,
you were just like.
yeah.
And maybe it was like a routine day for us, you know, like a random Tuesday. Perhaps we get a bit, like caught in the weeds of it. And I remember that day that you came in and you just were like, "You guys, you did it, you did it!" And it was like we were like opening night, and we were like, "That's great energy. Like we need that. We need that like once a day, just to kind of get us going." And it was very cool to see that you got it because So the backstory is that you lectured us,
right,
at Wits, and so it was just so cool to see you like years later, where you like you've done it. And I think perhaps one of the things I'd love to get into is the fact that I think why you understood the bioscope and what it meant was because you had done cinemas, right?
Yeah. So obviously, come from the background of the love of cinema as a cinematographer, having shot on celluloid and all of that stuff. But before going there, my family, we had tried to put cinemas up. in Mabopane, and we got together with other families in like Hammanskraal and I think in the East Rand somewhere.
What-
there were like
what
five cinemas. That
What
we had
era
passed.
was this?
Early 90s.
Okay.
Early 90s.
Okay,
You know, the technology.
Pre
was-
Mandela. Well, I mean,
just
pre-
at that time. Just at the time, Mandela had just been released or was about
Okay.
to be released.
Okay.
And there was a whole thing of new metro wanting to come into townships, as was Ster Kiniko.
Yeah.
And then we were the first, family in Mabopane, because my father was an entrepreneur, right? And
Yeah.
he was like, okay, this sounds like a vision,
There could be some money in
There
this.
could be some money in this, right?
Yeah.
And I had grown up, in Mabopane. We had one cinema called Neo Cinema.
Neo.
Neo, Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neo in Setswana means gift.
Okay.
And, Neo in Matrix.
In the Matrix. Yeah.
So funny enough, like speaking of that, I didn't have speech. I didn't have speech until I was about 7 years old or something.
You didn't speak as a kid.
I didn't speak, like, no, it wasn't verbal.
Okay.
Until I was about 7. And I think in 1976, 77, 76 actually is when television really hit it hard in South Africa.
Yeah.
So my folks, being entrepreneurs and traveling, were able to get a television,
Okay.
put in the house, and then that became my babysitter.
Okay.
And, 75, 76, that's when, and then that's what helped unlock my tongue. So
Okay.
going television and then going to Neo Cinema growing up, that's where my love for this magic called television and cinema started. And then, flash forward, you never know that you're going to become a filmmaker. Or whatever, flash forward later on, the family that had been running Neo Cinema, the Mokale family, like I literally was there. I used to go to the projector at the back
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to see how does this thing, like, you mean to tell me that this little plastic here, this little light is what we are seeing then, and the sound, it was magical for me, right? So yeah. So my parents, after my mom passed away, we had a shopping center in
Okay.
Mabopane called Mashobot Shopping Center, and there was space. It had burned down, as a matter of fact. Later on, after my mom passed away, and the space was there, and I said to my brother and to my dad and to my sisters, like, we gotta put something.
Yeah.
And that's how
And did you give it a go?
we gave it a go. No, it ran for a good 3 years. The cinemas were there. They were there, like in Hammanskraal. I can't remember which township in the East Rand, but there were cinemas. Like, what you doing? But the technology was not reels. It was these, like, almost the technology just before Blu-ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could play
Like
it
a
and then-
DVD or
a DVD. Like
DVDs came in the 90s. Yeah.
yeah, and the sound was impeccable, and you could sit about 100 people, in
Okay.
these cinemas, and
That must have been a nice, like, full circle for you to be
Ugh.
able to, like, have made it happen. What
right?
what stopped it?
I think just then the digital era came in, right? And folks, for some reason, the same movie that they would see in the township, or they would rather go and see it in the city. So the escape became thrilling to get in a taxi,
Okay.
go to town, as opposed to standing.
That became a trip, yeah.
Became a trip, and now there's a whole thing of township economy that everybody, the township economy. But there were black entrepreneurs back then who saw money in the townships. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
this is a market.
There's such a lovely documentary about Magic Johnson. Have you seen it? I'm trying to think where it
I
is.
used to go to to his cinemas in South Central LA. Yeah.
And he famous
Similar
basketball
kind of
player, amassed this wealth.
Yeah.
And he saw the value in putting cinemas in parts of the American neighborhoods that the traditional white businessman didn't think was viable.
yeah.
And these things pumped.
Oh my
There was
God,
great
yeah.
footage of these
Yeah.
people that packing out these cinemas just in that like glory age of like 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
I
mean, the Pan African Film Festival was started at Magic Cinemas.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Los Angeles. And it's weird because, like, entertainment,
Yeah.
the value chain of the business of entertainment is
Yeah.
so huge.
Yeah.
What Saul Kesner did there with Sun City,
Yeah.
it's all part of the leisure, lifestyle, entertainment, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And cinema is but one part of it. Cinema
Yeah.
and television is but
Yeah.
one part of it.
yeah.
So
But you've got yourself a film coming out.
yeah, I've got a film coming out.
Heart of the Hunter. What's
Heart of the Hunter.
Heart of the Hunter?
It's a book adaptation.
Well, who wrote the book?
Dion Mayer.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, this is serious. You did tell me this, but I forgot. Dion Mayer's a big deal,
Yeah, he's quite a big deal.
and not anyone can just adapt his books.
No.
Did you ever
no.
chat to him?
Of course.
Yeah.
I went
Because he doesn't live in South Africa, eh?
He does, but he spends a lot of time in France and in Italy because he's got kids there.
Okay. How old is he now?
Dion has got to be late 60s.
Okay.
68, maybe 70. around
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Around
he's
there.
probably South Africa's most successful fictional author.
Yeah.
I think you can safely say that.
You can safely say that, yeah. Globally, yeah.
Yeah. What is Heart of the Hunter about? Like briefly.
It's about this assassin who has to come out of retirement.
Okay.
And
Nice.
he's needed he's needed by this underground unit that he's been a part of, and he's got a few hours, like 24 hours, to bring back some material that is hidden in a faraway neighboring country,
Okay.
to come and take down this corrupt politician.
Set in South Africa.
Set in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. We made it
Okay.
contemporary. The book was written about 15 years ago. It was a
Okay.
bestseller about 15 years ago
Okay.
by Dion. And
Why does it have to be him? Why does he have to be the one that comes out? and
yeah,
Do it.
well, I mean, because
Or is that a spoiler?
yeah, it's a bit. It's not really. It's because he's the last man standing
Okay.
in this unit of assassins.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna have to watch. It comes out on March 29th
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah. And so, was there good support from Netflix? How did it? What was the background of it? Because sometimes you can have a movie
Mm-hmm.
that Netflix takes, or sometimes you're a Netflix movie. Which one is this?
This is a Netflix movie.
Okay, so they got their
They came knocking on my door
Okay.
after I'd done Silverton Siege with them.
yeah. That was a great movie, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did Silverton Siege, and they came knocking on my door. They were like, actually, it was during Silverton Siege. We were shooting at Church Street in Pretoria, and one of the lead actors, Arnold Furslow.
Yeah, good old the Mummy, man.
the Mummy dude,
Yeah.
was reading a book. And I'm like, I saw him because we were at the Chess Square for a few days.
Yeah.
He's reading this book, and as he's reading the book, I wasn't even talking about the book. I was just like, I said, you know what I would love to do, man? I would love to do a Western.
Okay.
Set here, Anglo-Boer War, and the Boers and the
Yeah.
British are fighting, and in the middle are Zulu, Sotho people. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you fighting for in our country for
Yeah.
our resources?
Can you do this somewhere else?
Can you do this somewhere else? But it's a Western.
So much of the great track, so much of all of that is exactly the same as the Western. And
It is that. But
and
this
there's-
is the real Wild West, right?
Yeah.
Because there were no lions, there were no flipping
yeah, good point.
cheetahs.
There was the
and
occasional bear.
there was the occasional bear. Here,
No, you could really get fucked up by nature. But
big time.
But it's it's no coincidence that the music the Afrikaans people make is very similar to
Yes.
country and Western music.
Exactly,
It's
right?
got the same
Yeah.
sense of my
Rhythm.
my bucky, my dog.
Exactly, right? And I thought to myself, it would be something that would be great to do here. And
Yeah, because the Western as a movie has its own thing, and
whole
you
mythology.
you could make a Western in a city.
of course,
It's a
genre.
it's a sensibility, it's a
Mhm.
tone, it's
Mhm.
okay. So you said
So,
I want to make this Western.
I want to make this Western. And then he's like, whoa.
yeah, that could be
I've got
interesting.
that could be interesting. He says, but I'm reading this book, and here's your first Western. And I'm
it
like,
was, and
what?
was it Heart of
It
the
was
Hunter?
Heart of the Hunter. He was reading Heart of the Hunter, and I'm like, okay, I know. Let's finish this movie called Silverton Siege. It's
Yeah.
a lot to get through.
Is Fosler in Heart of the Hunter?
Yeah. He's
Okay, so
he's
was-
Langerman.
So he was reading.
No, sorry. He was meant to be in Heart of the Hunter. He was
Okay.
reading it because the producers were calling him to
to
be-
do it. Yeah.
and they were thinking of doing it as a series and so forth. And
Okay.
So he said, you got to read this book, Mandla. You're going to love it. And I've told these guys, these Stellenbosch mafia guys, I've told them that you got to do it. And I told them, I said, do you guys have a director? They were like, no. I said, okay, I know a director. I'm working with him now.
How is the Stellenbosch mafia involved?
That's just Arnold. That's how he speaks. They're in Stellenbosch.
Okay, yeah.
They're based in Stellenbosch.
Okay.
Dion stays in Stellenbosch.
Okay.
It's just the lingo.
Got you. There's a great photo that someone posted, which has made the rounds on the internet again, of a photo someone snapped of Timothy Chalamet on the subway reading Dune, many years ago.
Really?
But you can just see him just very casually reading this book.
Amazing.
And it's so cool to see years later him
and then
now
he'll end up being
Paul Atreides. He was obviously reading it for the research of Jesus. What am I being asked to do here?
Yeah. So I read. So Arnold is reading the book, and then he says, "You got to read this book. This is your Western. This is okay. I understand you want to, but here's a modern Western that you would like."
Okay.
So let me finish this, and then I'll take a look. So in post-production, we finished shooting. While I'm in post with Silverton Siege, I said, okay, let me pick up this book. Okay. And he gets me the book. He actually gets Dion in Cape Town to do me the book, and I read it, and I'm like, whoa, this is very interesting. This guy in the book, he's got 72 hours to go and get these files. If he doesn't get it, his mentor gets taken out, and it's
juicy.
It's a thriller. It's juicy. It's very layered.
There's a lot of meat on the bone.
A lot of meat. So I said, nah, this is really cool. So then I called Arnold. He introduced me to the guys, Tim and Gobus, and obviously Dion. They've got a company together called Scene 23. So I flew after editing. After making a film, I normally want to take 2 weeks of just get back, decompress. Go and buy, get on a taxi and just, this is 5 rand, this is 20 rand, and you know what I mean? Really, because when
what
you're
does that
making
mean?
a film,
Sorry.
What I mean by that is that to get back to the real world.
Okay.
Because when you're on a film, you're in this incubator where, you are treated as this guy. Oh, no, what do you need? What do you want?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, don't sit on the director's chair. And it's a whole...
It could very easily inflate your ego.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I try.
You want to go back down to sort of street
to
level.
the roots, to street level.
Okay, so you like to take some taxis.
Yeah, just to really, really be grounded and just walk the streets and just
that's cool.
Just get back to reality, reset kind of thing. So and I went to Cape Town. I met with Dion. I met with Tim and Gobus. And unfortunately, Arnold wasn't there. He had to fly back to Santa Monica for family stuff. And then I was like, listen, I really like this. And then it just so happened that Netflix also reached out to me and said, hey, listen, we think you might have we might have a project that you'd like. I said, what's that? And they say, it's Heart of the Hunt. I said, I just met with the guys. They said, really? Well, then it's meant to be.
Jesus, that's a coincidence.
It's a huge coincidence.
Okay.
And then, they say they want to do it as a series, but we think it's stronger as a feature film. What do you think?
It's interesting that books...
And there was no script by that.
Yeah, it's interesting that certain books can make really good limited series. Like when you think of all the Harlan Coben stuff that's on Netflix, sometimes it does need a few more episodes, and it's not going to be a whole long series that's going to take, 3 or 4 seasons, but sometimes those books just need a bit more time. So
the canvas, you need a bigger canvas to open.
And you can really sink your teeth in. And I know some of these actors, some of these Hollywood actors that have now done the True Detectives and things like that. A guy like Matthew McConaughey said, I actually really love this because I get more time. I get to really sink my teeth
into this character.
And it's the same amount of time. What you've shot a limited series in is the same amount of time that it would take to shoot a movie.
Yeah.
And there's so much gets left on the cutting floor.
Yeah.
So you really get to play with the character. Okay, so why did this become a movie?
I think from them looking at what I had done with Silverton Siege.
Okay.
And I think also just from a standpoint of costs.
Okay, they were
to do this as a series, it would have cost them a lot.
Okay.
right? Because this guy leaves Cape Town, and to shoot in Cape Town is not really cheap.
Yeah.
You know, he goes into a foreign country and he has to go on a bike and he jumps over trains and
Yeah.
he gets chased by helicopters. So there was a lot. And they were like, okay, if we're going to have this as a series, it's going to cost us a bit.
Okay, because it will then take more time.
It'll take more time. It'll
Okay.
take more time.
Okay, because I was under the impression that perhaps it could be almost the same amount of costs.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You know, it's a slow burn, but it costs more. You're just getting more for your buck. Yes. I mean, look, maybe let's just say, you know, if a feature film like this one, cost-wise, was under $10 million, right?
Okay.
Under $10 million. But for a series of that, you could do it for $10 million, and then you get more hours on the screen.
Yeah.
It's so you and I think also it's Netflix was having a challenge in as far as feature films are concerned. You know, their feature films haven't really done that well. That's an area that they really
So they were focused more on
trying to
make a film.
trying to build a slate for that. So
How do you feel when you got that chase sequence and that helicopter and like? Were you overwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed in those moments? Do you feel okay?
Nah,
With so much money on the line?
I feel very
okay. Are you quite used to that at this point?
Yeah. Remember, I come from a cinematography background, right?
Yes.
I used to shoot music videos. We'd
Okay.
shoot for 18 hours. People have to leave, you know, big artists.
Yeah. What were some of the highlights?
Well, I mean, you know, Hugh Masekela's music videos I had to
nice.
do here. I worked on Brandy's music videos. I worked on Outkast.
Oh, lovely.
And
Okay,
I
so
was
this
still
is
coming out in the US.
so
yeah,
you
in
spent a lot of
Atlanta.
time there because
on big shows, yeah, like you know, did some Notorious B.I.G. music videos. And so there's a time that I you know, you can judge and say, okay, this team that I'm with, we will be able to get through the day.
Yeah.
And to get through the day, I need to make sure that I hit these points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on my short list, this I'm not gonna do. This I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, rather than try to do 3, 4 setups, I'm gonna combine this into one continuous shot, and then I would have made the day. Because it's about making the day
It's problem
and telling
solving.
the story.
It's
problem solving. Yeah. On the go. Because you're burning cash, right? I got a lot of money. A lot of money.
And I think a director almost works that out. Whether you've done the actual maths or not, you know, like the next hour is worth this much.
Yeah.
Is it Netflix's money?
Oh yeah.
It's their money.
It's their money.
So did you feel them on set? Were they? What
No,
were
that's
they
the
like?
beauty about working with these guys. You know, so what you do is you obviously there's, you know, the process. There's a script. Just like the business, right? Location. So there's a script, and then that process of the script gets approved with development with them. And once that was done, so Dion adapted the book. He wrote the first, second, and maybe third draft
Of
and
the screenplay.
of the screenplay, and he had to change the name of the characters because, you know, he's got this whole universe, right?
Yeah.
And I think Devil's Peak was also, you know, setting up to shoot, so he changed the characters' names and all of that. And after the third draft, it still wasn't landing or nailing it so strong. Netflix were like, okay, can we do another draft? Can we give you guys another month or so? And then it just dawned on me to say, listen, we gotta take this and make it a shooting script, right? Because Dion is very used to writing in prose. He's a novelist.
Yeah.
So it's a different medium. Making movies and writing.
So
novels.
now we got to see it as in what
Pictures.
it looks like.
We gotta write it in pictures, not in words.
Okay.
So the words on paper have to be picture telling.
Yeah.
Words. Right?
Yeah. So, for example, it can't be like, this is what he's thinking.
Yeah.
And this is what's going through his head. You're like, how the
He's
fuck do you show that?
Yeah.
It's like I've got to create a picture that shows him thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
So
his character, right?
He stares out into the distance, or he is writing. Okay, got it.
So then we brought in an additional writer by the name of Willem Grobler, amazing dude from Pretoria as well. And then we sat there and we just beat it out. And Dion would read the draft, give us notes, and then we'll get in the room with Vellum and just beat it out.
Okay.
And then thankfully Netflix was able to give us more time. And then Dion was happy with the draft. He was like, all right, it's got my blessings. Go ahead and do it. And then Netflix were like, yep, it's got our blessings. Go and do it. And then obviously
do they leave you to the most part to shoot?
I'm getting to that.
Yeah,
So then once the script, you're done with the development process, they're like, okay, now tell us, Mr. Director, how are you going to do this? What is your vision around this? Then I had to sit down, work with my graphic designer, and I had to obviously write down my director's statement and the themes and how I intend to flesh out those themes, from a standpoint of scene to scene. How will I make those emotional beats resonate from beginning to end? The emotional arcs of each character, the arc of the entire story, and visually, how am I gonna interpret that? Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you kind of like your family. You just. They say, goodbye, we won't see you until this movie is over.
You go into a hole. Yeah.
You go into a hole and you sit there and then, and you're like, nah, that's not, And the vision is in writing it down, letting it go, reading it again, saying, no, that's not it. Letting it go. So draft after draft, you're getting more. The script is in the rewrite. I don't know if you've heard that saying.
Yeah, no,
the script, the script
that
is in
makes
the
sense.
rewrite. The more you rewrite, the more you rewrite. And similarly, the vision is just beating it out more.
But at this point, it's probably worth mentioning that you have to remain as objective as you can, because I think this is a point where perhaps a lot of filmmakers could get lost, because so much can sit in your head where you've got such a great idea of where he's come from, where he's going, your main characters, or, what's at stake. But if you don't properly translate that from an objective point of view, the audience member could, at the very end, go, but I don't get it. Why?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, but... And the director shouldn't have to explain it. You should get it.
The film should speak for itself.
Yeah.
There are no disclaimers, right?
Yeah.
When you're watching this movie, just make sure... You can't do that. You're not there. You can't control...
You've got to show us that there's this childhood trauma somehow, so that we understand, okay, he's had childhood trauma, whatever.
Yeah.
But
so I watched Sicario.
Oh, good film.
Listen to the soundtrack of Sicario.
Was that a reference for you?
It was a reference. It's a huge reference.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. And Sicario simply means assassin, right?
Yeah.
In Spanish. So so I listened to that. I watched the film. Also. Listen to the soundtrack. And
that's a good reference, because it's about like a single operation, and so much of the movie is about this one night where they've got to cross the border, do something, get back. Okay, that's a great reference.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously my cinematographer and my great first AD, Trevor Calvilly was a cinematographer.
Okay.
And DeVilius Fourie was my first AD. Production designer. We huddled up, Batoni. We got together and said, okay, how are we gonna, and I get the editor involved early.
Oh, interesting.
I don't wait until I'm like, no, because we're making the same story.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into post and editing like, oh, what the hell is this?
So they can say,
they read
give
the
us
script.
This, give me that. Make sure you get that shot. Don't forget about this one.
Yes, it comes from my training when I was still at AFI. Like, you have to be the whole team has to sit in a circle first and foremost with the actors, and then how are we going to tell the story? Because we're telling the same story. I just happen to be very fortunate to be the person that's asked to direct it, and everybody else is collaborating with the director to tell the story, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta know.
You gotta be at least reading the same book.
You gotta be reading the same. You gotta be reading the same book.
You could maybe be on different pages, and that could be what makes it interesting. But at least it's the same book.
Yeah, so we do that, get it done, and then they approve the script, and then Netflix came down to Cape Town. We got into a room, and they do what they call a deep dive. And then I had to now say, okay, this is my vision for the story.
Okay.
This is the music that I think we should use. This is the tone of the film. This is the production design. This is all of that. It's something like easily a 75-page document that I put together with images, references, music, and there's a costume designer, the production designer, not so much a cinematographer, and we do this what they call a deep dive.
Okay.
And we get into the story, and then you're pitching, you're re-pitching it, to the creative team.
But you're just
to the
having
post-production.
You're just having them know that you got it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
and
this
then,
is very clear. It's not like a don't worry, trust me, it's there.
Yeah,
It's like no, it's going to look like this. He's going to wear these kinds of pants.
Exactly. And the color palette, you got to choose a color palette and all that stuff. And you can't BS your way through this, huh?
No. Because they'll know.
They will know. These guys have made films. They've worked with films. They've worked with the best and the worst
in
the world.
Netflix is sort of famously not in South Africa. There's no sort of Netflix people. They are in Amsterdam.
They're in Amsterdam, correct.
Okay, so they come out.
So they come out here and they sit down and you tell them, and Dion Mayer was in the room, the producers, Gobus and Tim, and it was great. And then, there's a whole process. Sorry, there's a stage that I skipped, which is casting.
Sure,
right?
sure.
You can't make a film without a cast.
It's interesting that casting is getting its first Oscar.
Yeah.
Next year they've included it
You
as
know what I mean?
in
the academy.
in the academy as a thing.
It's good. It's very
Yeah.
So we did a whole casting process. Look, the pre-production for Heart of the Hunter was easily 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
And meeting up with the actor and
But speaking of that, your lead is Bonko, hey?
the lead is Bongo Koza.
Yeah, shout out to Bonko, who was a customer at the video store.
Yeah.
So we've
He
done it.
told me. He
did a
told me
great
that this
episode
up in
with him.
here. Yeah. Funny story about how Bongo got into Heart of the Hunter.
Yeah.
So I'd done Silverton Siege and I was prepping for Heart of the Hunter. I was at the Hyde Park exclusive bookstore.
Okay.
Sitting
That's a
at the
good one.
table. Yeah, sitting at the table. I could just go to the books. It's like being in a library, right?
It's a lovely setup.
And I had like 5 or 6 books in front of me, and this guy walks past with his wife. It was her birthday. He had taken her for lunch, and then they're with another friend, a common friend, Anele. And then they're sitting there. I'm sitting there. They walk past me, and I just glance up and I go back and say hi. And then apparently they got to the door, and then Anele said to Bongo, "Oh, that's the director of Silverton Siege."
Okay.
And then he was like, "What? I want to meet that guy. I want to meet." And then she's like, "Well, we're here now.
Yeah, now's
Anyway,
your chance.
let's go back." They come back, and he says,
It's one thing if you were in a meeting at the olives and plates there. Or, Yeah.
And then they, introduce themselves, and he says, "I'm Bongo Koza." I said, "Are you Bongo Koza?" I'm like starstruck. Oh my God! I said, "Oh yes." I said, "Bongo, lovely to meet you. My son told me about you. My son Luyanda said to me, 'Oh, Papa, you gotta. This guy is like the next big thing.
He knows how to
Whatever
act.
you do,
Yeah.
try to, have him in your next movie.'"
Oh, funny.
And I was like, "What?
How old's your son?
Leander is 23 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's like, "You gotta have him in your film. You gotta watch." I said, "Okay. I don't know it." So literally, I meet him there, and then I said, "Yeah, I'll send you the script. Read it."
Shit. I'm sure you walked away from that going, "I'm so glad I turned around."
Literally that, but then obviously he had to go through the process of the casting and tapes and all of that.
But at
jump
least
the
his
hoops.
head could be in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe in that. I believe like the right person will be there for that role. So immediately, as I said, "Listen, if you really want to do this, here's a script and all of that. Obviously, we're gonna do the custom Netflix. Ultimately, it's their call at the end, and there'll be other people who also
We might find
auditioning.
someone better, but
But check this out." And I said, "Whatever you do, start hitting the gym.
okay. Yeah.
Go to the gym." And then, sure enough, he did. Every week, he would send me a tape or a photo of how the 6-pack was getting there.
Great.
And now he says he goes to the gym religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he became our lead, and then I asked Netflix with the producers, like, could we also audition Connie Ferguson?
Okay.
And Connie had never done a film
Okay.
at all. Like she was in a film some years back.
Yeah.
Where it was a small role, and then this was her first time being a lead. And then Tim Theron, who's been in a lot of films for CakeNet, right, was a producer on the film, but he didn't get offered the role. He had to audition just like everybody else. It was actually, I made it tougher for him because he was so close to the material. And then Masasa, you remember Masasa?
Yeah, from Wits days.
From Wits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Masasa auditioned as well.
Oh, I think I know the day that this happened because both Masasa and Bonko were here in 44 Stanley because Actors Spaces is a casting agency
Yes.
here in 44 Stanley. So every now and again, these actors just roll in. And Bonko was wearing like a sort of chest piece and was dressed up like a sort of police riot guy.
Yeah, right here?
Yeah, and I saw Masasa and I was like, oh yeah, I remember you from Varsity.
Yeah.
I forget how long ago that was,
Yes,
but that was
yeah.
obviously around the
In
time that they were
around that
auditioning.
time, yeah.
So that's funny how I sort of touched in that moment.
You were
yeah.
in that moment too, like looking in the window,
Yeah.
like, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's lovely.
So that was great. And then, a lot of actors, obviously, we have amazing talent in South Africa. man.
No, especially
it's
with the right
insane.
role.
Yeah.
Lovely, man.
So Dude did that, and then we went through, and then obviously you got Dion Coutier, we got Wanda Banda in the cast as well. We've got Peter Butler, and we've got Nicole Fontaine. We've got Connie Chiume. So it's a great cast, great
It's
ensemble, lovely
yeah.
ensemble. And then again, rehearsals, right? I'm big on rehearsals. Like, we have to have at least 4 weeks of rehearsals with actors.
Yeah.
It's like minimum, so that they can get to the roles and all that. Obviously, we don't beat it out to a point where they become stale and they just leave the best for on set. But there was again, and I've got this process that I call voodoo cinema.
Okay.
And voodoo cinema pretty much talks to. So each actor had to choose a totem, right? And it's a very African thing. We have an animal totem that they choose. In Silverton,
like a spirit animal.
spirit animal.
Okay.
A spirit animal. They
Like
choose.
I'm a tiger because of this. Or
Yes.
that.
So literally, there's a character named Tiger in Silverton Sea, in the Heart of the Hunter.
Okay.
So he had to study what the tiger does and all that, and then Bonko was an eagle.
Okay.
He studied what the eagle does. I mean, and you'll also see it in the film that we the iconography.
Yeah.
Is there, like the jacket that he puts on, it's an eagle,
Okay.
So
But this is something you've added. It wasn't necessarily written into the text.
No. It's part of my process.
Yeah, because you spoke to me at one point about voodoo cinema.
Yeah.
You were wanting to do something with that, or screenings of films that explore it.
That
or,
explore it, yeah. Because it's for me, it's a shorthand that we have in Africa that we don't even tap into. Like, we don't use it, but why not?
Yeah,
It's a shorthand, like archetypes.
Yeah,
Right? It's a spirit animal. I mean, there was a series I was going to do called Spinners, and this time just didn't work out. I ended up having to do-
we met the lead.
Yeah.
You were
I
originally
casted that dude. Actually,
Cantona.
I actually casted that dude.
Okay,
But anyway, I didn't get to do Spinners, he was a mongoose.
oh, interesting.
I don't know if you watch Spinners, you see
Yeah.
we showed
Yeah.
he's a mongoose. You can never get that dude.
Yeah.
He is.
But mongooses are powerful.
Powerful.
They fucking kill snakes.
Yes.
They eat snakes.
Yes.
It's like,
And the snakes are
don't
after
forget.
him.
Yeah.
The snakes. If you watch Spinners, the
Yeah.
snakes are after that dude, right?
Yeah.
And then he's able.
Okay.
They can never catch him.
But
anyway,
that's,
so
that's a very cool way of looking at things and sort of bringing an Africanness into your storytelling.
Yeah.
Even if it is subtle,
Even if it's exactly.
but it's at least there. Okay, that's lovely. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we'll come back and do a class on that one day. Anyways.
Yeah.
But so that's what the characters, right? And then the arch villain played by Connie Ferguson, we chose her to be a crocodile. Kwena. Her last name is Munleboheng Kwena is her last name. And Kwena is a crocodile, right?
Okay.
And that's how she
Waiting.
just waiting. Just
Ready
waiting.
to attack. Yeah.
And you
Conserving
look at the film,
energy.
Conserving it.
Yeah.
You watch the film, you'll see so it's all
Fuck, that's such a good way of doing it.
yeah, and
It's very simple.
it's so simple.
Yeah. And because
Right?
we've also, even myself, who's perhaps not come from a, African culture, a lot of my heritage is rooted in, England.
Yeah.
If I look back on grandfathers and
Yeah.
stuff. But, we still get the idea of the spirit animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's global.
I long since made a joke that my spirit animal is a Central Park squirrel.
Central Park, right?
Lovable, resourceful.
Right. This is resourceful. What you've
cute.
done here.
Cute
What you've
but
done
resourceful.
Here,
Yeah.
what you've done here is super resourceful.
Lovely, man.
So that's what the actors
Okay.
tapped into, because there's some of them are spies, and they just so it
Okay.
became a way of us being able to have a shorthand on
Okay.
set. I'll just say, okay, listen, but hey,
Don't forget.
would an eagle do that?
Let's root it back in now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's easier because then
Okay.
you're talking the same language.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as collaborators,
Yeah.
you're talking the same language. So that was the process, and then after rehearsals,
Now we just got to shoot this thing.
we just got to go down. And then obviously did the shot list, we did storyboards,
Yeah.
the whole works. Because there's a lot of money that was being spent. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you live up to the promise that you
Yeah.
did at the deep dive
Yeah.
to the financiers, in this case being Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And then, man, and we shot, we shot in the Karoo, we shot in Cape Town. So the city of Cape Town is a character
Okay.
in the film, right?
Okay,
Which is
that
something that I've also did in Kalushi. I did Kalushi, the city of Pretoria as a character.
Yeah.
Silverton Siege, the city of Pretoria as a character, and
Yeah.
similarly in Cape Town,
Mm.
the city of Cape Town as a character with Heart of the Hunter.
Mm.
And I call that cinematourism.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, I haven't been to a lot of places that I've seen in films, but I've always,
I feel like I know it. Yeah.
I feel like I know it. I mean, those spaghetti westerns that were shot in Spain,
Yeah.
a lot of people still go
Yeah.
to where they were shot. That Sergio
Yeah.
Leone shot The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They go.
Yeah.
It's you go there. It's nothing. It's just an open. But
Yeah.
because of cinema, people are touring to that.
Okay.
It's a lovely way of being able to to tap into, especially what Dion had written in the book, because he loves the Karoo. He goes to the Karoo like it's his second home. He's always in the Karoo to go and write.
But there's your Western.
That's my Western, right?
Yeah,
That's why Arnold had said,
What the Karoo looks like. Yeah.
you just watch it. So then the approach was that let's make the city of Cape Town very claustrophobic. Let's shoot it with 75mm lenses and up. Let's not go wider.
And so, what does that mean to the layman? That means that
It's more closed in. You don't
Yeah.
see the whole world.
it's
Right?
not wide
It's not
and
wide.
open.
It's not
yeah.
wide. It's more, and there's shallow depth of field. It's not everything is in focus.
Yeah.
The background is blurred and all of that.
Okay,
right?
so that makes you feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for him and his family, that's it. And then when you go to the Karoo, it's just wide.
You can feel
But
the
he's
space.
actually,
yeah.
you can feel the space, but he's actually on the run. He's not really free
Yeah, he's
because he's
lost.
being chased.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
So there are all these little subtle things that you got to play.
But you've
with
worked this. You've spoken about what lenses you're going to use.
with the cinematography.
You've mapped it out. So I think it's interesting to mention that the shooting itself is actually quite a small part of it.
It is. I mean, Hitchcock says that, right? He said the film is made in the prep. So we
Yeah.
went out to the Karoo. We went to all these locations 3-4 times at least.
Yeah.
So okay, when we get here, we'll do this. And then
The
first
shooting
day,
is what, like a sort of quarter of the pie. It's
yeah,
like it's
pretty
a small
much.
Part
I
of
mean, it's
it,
where
yeah.
you're spending a lot of money, but
Yeah.
it is when
Yeah.
you get to execute, you should when you walk into a room when you're doing location scouting, right?
Yeah.
Recce,
Yeah.
you feel this does it talk to the script? No, we'll do this. This maybe it doesn't work because it's too far from the other locations. Logistically, it'll take us too much
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
maybe let's find another location. Let's go and look at another location. Okay, maybe this one is great. Oh yeah, the sun comes up at this hour here.
Comes out through that window.
Because
It'll be
through that
lovely.
window, it'll be
Yeah.
lovely because
Yeah.
there'll be a backlight. You know what? Great. Maybe
Yeah.
this location works. Let's map it out.
Yeah.
And then Trevor, the cinematographer, goes, yeah, okay, I think I like this.
Yeah.
Production designer said, oh yeah, okay, well, what do you think the walls should be? It should be
Yeah.
something that's muted. Let's age them and all of that. And
Yeah.
everybody's in sync, reading the same script.
Yeah,
Get back
lovely.
to the production office, and then we start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, and then meantime, and your schedule is insane during prep because you got to
Yeah.
do this, you got to, work with the crew, you got to work with, then you do makeup tests as well.
Yeah.
And speaking of makeup tests, I have also come up with this innovation called digital melanin cinematography, right? So, so
Okay.
traditionally, celluloid, you guys were, You were taught on celluloid at vets, right?
No.
No?
It was those like sort of shitty digital.
Yeah, but I think I do remember having some Kodak film stocks.
I think we tried, but those kinds of things were always quite difficult for us to do.
But the
'cause-
film lab was still around, though, right?
No, we didn't do much with it.
Damn.
Okay, but what is this?
Maybe the group before you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what that is that Kodak,
Okay.
when they manufactured film stocks,
Okay.
they were manufacturing film stocks for the demographics of white Caucasian skin tones only,
Yeah.
right? Those were the
Okay.
standards,
Yeah.
right? So even to this day, when you shoot on set, they have a gray card that's 18% reflective, because for white Caucasian skin tones, that is the sweet spot
Okay.
of being able to find what a good rendition and reproduction of your skin tone. And then they have what they call Shirley cards. And these Shirley cards are like Macbeth chart. You remember the Macbeth chart? The one that's got all these colors on it.
Okay.
That's how you're able to, when you get to post, you're able to
Oh, so this
use
is like some kind of standardizing of color so that you can
reproduction.
grade. Yeah.
for grading, for color grading.
Okay.
So that's what Kodak had done. And then Fuji similarly did it for Asian skin tones. They created
Yeah.
their own standards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So within the RGB, red, green, blue,
Mm.
you gotta find a sweet spot that renders the skin tone to be
Okay.
a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that when that face is captured, the result that's burnt into the celluloid
yes,
is going to best represent the color of that person's skin.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it, Russell. That's
Okay.
exactly it, right?
All right.
So now that research that was done by Kodak and Fuji migrated into the digital world, which we are now shooting with
Okay.
digital cameras. But not enough research had gone into
Black skin.
African and Indian melanin skin tones. It just wasn't, research wasn't done.
Okay.
So I said no, but in the digital era, we've got the ability to take
we can
images,
recalibrate.
we can recalibrate, take images and do the research and be intentional around it for projects that we do.
Okay.
So we started on Kalushi with the cinematographer Tommy Maddox. And then he went away we went to film school together at AFI. He came to South Africa, we did Kalushi, went back to the US and, did Straight Out of Compton and all of that. And then he went on a show called Snowfall. Right? And then
were you involved in Straight Outta Compton?
No.
He was.
Tommy Maddox was.
Okay.
Yeah. He was. He did
This is you working with a particular cinematographer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did second camera on Straight Out of Compton.
Yeah.
So we came up with this innovation as time went on with a gentleman by the name of Dumiso Mnguni.
Yeah.
He's a colorist. He's like
Yeah.
the best colorist in the country right now.
And a black colorist.
And he's a black colorist.
So
Yeah.
the way in which the skin tones of his people are represented is important to him.
Exactly, right?
Where perhaps this is not top priority for a white colorist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it
Okay.
hasn't been for years, right?
Yeah.
And he's like a black colorist.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, the majority of the stuff that we shoot in South Africa has black people in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It would make kind of sense that there should be a black colorist. Don't you guys think?
Yeah. Someone that does it respectfully. Yeah.
Respectfully and
Okay.
curate that skin tone. So we did tests and thankfully the cinematographer Trevor Calverley was open to that.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
And he's an amazing guy. And then the makeup artist and
Yeah.
Jules. So we sat there and so Bonko's skin tone.
Jules Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
I know
from
her.
here.
Her brother plays in my band.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We went to film school together. She was in our class.
Jules was in.
No, but she was in my acting class. Sorry,
Oh.
she did performance.
Oh,
She wasn't in the film classes,
Yeah,
but
she's from Greenside. I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
lovely.
she's in Cape Town.
Okay.
Jules. So we said, and then we worked on, doing tests.
Yeah.
Send them to Netflix. They were like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
But I love
Then-
it that the focus is on getting this black skin tone right.
Yeah, and then once
Okay.
you get that skin tone right, you get every other skin tone right.
Yeah.
It's just
And so what did
inevitable.
you call this?
It's called digital melanin cinematography.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
called
You're a
DMC.
You're a pioneer. So I don't know whether you know that. Okay, because then, listen, I think we could keep chatting about this whole line, from start to finish, which I'm actually really enjoying.
Sure.
A part of this show tends to then be a journey through one's life, and I think we're going to have to rush through it.
Oh yeah.
But it's to go through the films that have made an impact on your life.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with it, should we do that now? Because I feel like we've covered the film.
Sure.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Where did we grow up?
Grew up in Mabopane.
Okay, and you've said that.
Just
Where is that?
It's outside of Pretoria.
Outside of Pretoria.
Yeah.
And you,
North.
Okay,
It's north,
and you were in that cinema, in the Neo cinema, consuming stuff as a young kid.
Yeah.
Can you
TV.
Can you think of a film in particular that stood out for you?
That film is in my first film, Kalushi, and that film is titled Jaws.
Okay, it's a great film,
Yeah.
masterclass in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Okay, so that taught you how to make movies
That
when you were a
taught me
kid.
how to be suspense, how to use music as a way to be able to. I mean, you never see the shark in Jaws.
Yeah, and when you
so-
speak of being a director, having to solve problems, having
Yeah.
to get through shoot days,
Yeah.
I'm sure you know this, but the shark didn't work.
Yeah, the shark.
And they couldn't figure out, and the shark was meant to have more screen
Yeah.
time, but it didn't because of production issues.
Yeah.
But the result was the problem solving of, okay, well then we're not going to see it as much,
Yeah.
and that actually made it better.
It made it better. That's when
Okay.
you realize that, like, we are the embodiment of magic itself as
Yeah.
cinema, as filmmakers. Like, literally, we are.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sit there like, how the hell did that happen?
yeah.
I don't know. They cut it up together, put music, everybody collaborated, and that's.
But Jaws has also got a little nugget in it, and it's like the night before on the boat when they all get drunk. The three sort of main characters are stuck on this boat. Their
Right.
objective is to kill the shark.
Yeah.
But there's a night where they get drunk and they speak almost about manhood.
Yeah.
And they show each other their
Hunting.
scars, but
Hunting,
they
right?
become quite vulnerable men,
Right.
talking
Right.
through things, and so that's all of a sudden that just drops, it breaks the ceiling or drops the floor, whatever your analogy is, to sort of expose more dynamic of what it means to be a man.
Yeah, and
And
I mean,
I love that about it. It's such an underrated part of Jaws.
because you see yourself in that. That's why you love
Yeah.
it, right? Character. What makes great characters? What are they gonna do
Yeah,
in time of adversity?
yeah.
And they were
Lovely.
bonding there
Okay.
just to to talk each other up.
Yeah.
To be.
Yeah.
We're going on this hunt, and we did that. I mean, like, part of that whole thing of voodoo cinema I was telling you about, and cinematourism is that before the hunt, as
Yeah.
ancient men, we used to get in a huddle,
Yeah,
make a fire, or even if it was inside a cave,
yeah.
and we would pre-visualize, storyboard, right?
And
We
that's
would
the
pre-visualize the hunt.
Bushman painting.
That's the Bushman paintings of
It
what
was-
we're gonna do.
Okay, was a lot of that Bushman painting before the hunt?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because before that, it was to illustrate this is how, and it was, and the sacred animal is the eland.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was like we are tapping into the spirit of this animal before we go and hunt it, and we are asking the heavens and the spirit of that animal to allow us to be able to sacrifice it, because we need to be able to live as a community and have some food, right? So that's cinema on another level.
Yeah.
Another deep level, right?
Oh, wow.
And then we go into tombs in ancient Egypt. There are scenes that we carved into walls, and there's an
the
entire story.
storyboarding.
Yeah, storyboarding, telling a story. This dude, So we've been doing. We've been. If it's just now, and I when I use the word, like, we are literally the embodiment of magic itself. Like it's that's what we're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
with AI
That's
now,
lovely.
look at what we're doing with AI.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's what.
Okay, over to high school. Where were we?
Oh, it was high school. So I finished primary in Mabopane,
Yeah.
and then I went to high school in a place called St. Albans College. I started there in Pretoria.
Okay, that's quite a fancy school.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That
My parents could afford it. So I was
The
very fortunate.
entrepreneur parents were able to give you the best education.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so St. Albans. Do you remember a great film from high school?
My dad used to smuggle these films from the U.S., where he traveled a lot. Right, he was used to import hair products into the country, and he would bring these films. It's very memorable because he used to project 16 millimeter in the house.
Yeah.
And there's a film that he had brought, and I don't know what the title of it was, but it was about the Black Panther. It was some underground film that was made. It may have been
Okay.
The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I don't know if I remember the title.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that movie. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. It's about this dude who goes to work for the CIA, the FBI, and all of
Okay.
that in the
But
60s.
by Black Panther, you're talking about like
the Black Panther
the
Party.
military wing, not,
Yeah, yeah.
not the Marvel
No,
character.
no. The Black Panther Party from the 60s.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it may be that. The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Okay.
And then this dude, who works for the CIA, the FBI, he's black, obviously.
okay.
And
but-
then he studies what they're doing next, and he goes underground to go and filter this information to the Black Panther Party. I think that was the movie.
Sure, but I mean, what was cooler was the fact that you were being exposed to this kind of black storytelling
Consciousness, yeah.
and consciousness that
Yeah.
perhaps you didn't have access to. Literally, it needed your dad to
Yeah,
be bringing it in.
yeah.
Then over in sort of start of career, we've got this other film sort of category, which is it's
So
getting serious.
let me also tell you. So when I was in St. Albans, like this is in the mid '80s, was like the very, very, very height of apartheid. Like huge, right? So
there could perhaps not be that many black folk in your school.
no, we're very handful of us.
Yeah.
At St. Albans. It was an Anglican school, but anyway, one of the times, one of the kids goes, "Okay, we're gonna go to the movies at Manland."
Okay.
Because I love movies. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, the movies gave me life. Movies gave me speech, right? Gave me a voice.
I
So
love
there was
that.
this movie that came out called The Terminator.
Yeah.
I gotta go and see that thing. So we went up there. We get there, and the guys that are working at the cinema are black.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, we can't let you in." I'm like, "What?" And then this guy I went there with was allowed, he was white. I can't remember his first name.
Wait, you
His
weren't
surname
as a
was-
black guy allowed to go into the cinema?
He wasn't allowed. And then the guy that I had gone with went in, and then, he went to watch the Terminator. And then I was like, fuck, man, I would have loved to. Because I read the book, I read the book Terminator when I just entered high school. I said,
I didn't
would
know
have
there
loved
was a
to-
book.
Yeah, it was a book. It was, anyway, so, and from since then, James
that's
Cameron became somebody that I
Sure,
really-
but that's interesting. So you had to sort of just sit outside.
I had to sit out. Well, I had to go in somewhere to eat, and then I waited for
Shame,
Duplessis
man.
was the guy's dude.
Little fucking Mandla not
Yeah,
being
no.
allowed to watch
But,
Terminator.
Yeah. Then I came out. I was like, "How was the movie?" He had to, he told me, and that's how in the townships, folks used to, quote unquote, watch films. One guy who could afford it would go in, watch the movie,
Okay.
come back to the street corner,
And tell
and start
everyone.
telling yo. And that's how, I mean, if you watch the films that I make, I start with that approach aesthetically, right? I give you a big wow bang, like, like how we tell stories here in South Africa is we just in our culture. We come into a room, like if somebody was to walk into the cinema, they'll go yo, cho,
Yeah.
cho, cho, cho. And
Before
then-
they've said anything,
they've
They
set you up.
give you the expectation.
Yeah, it's like,
that's-
it's like, my brother.
I've never thought of
We do that.
storytelling.
Afrikaans people do that. Young, weet julle wat, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, what, right?
Yeah.
English people do that. Like, guys, you're not gonna believe this,
Yeah,
right?
let me tell
Let
you.
me tell you. Once
Okay.
upon a time, there was this, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I,
fuck.
that's how
But
I
shame, so
approach
your friends had to come out and tell you about
comes out
Terminator.
and tells me about that. I'm like, damn, one day I'm gonna watch that thing,
Fuck, man.
And then it just became very difficult to continue at St. Albans.
But that also must have sparked some kind of seed in you going, I need to create a cinema where black people can go and watch.
I think you're right, but subconsciously that
It
you're
had
right.
it had to be.
It
Because
had
if
to
you're
be,
like,
yeah.
how can I come all this way and not be allowed to
Yeah.
watch a movie? It's
Yeah.
one thing if it was some political rally or some
Yeah,
religious
yeah,
sect or,
yeah.
something that
Yeah,
But
actually, you're right.
Jesus,
So then later
okay.
on, later on, one would end up starting up
it
a
makes
chain of
sense
cinemas.
that's why you did it.
And then, so then it comes, it happens that my brother had already gone to the U.S.
Okay.
He was studying in Alabama,
Oh,
and then my father had partnered with some other business people. They started a company called Black Like Me. The hair product company.
Oh, I know that name, yeah.
Yeah. My dad started that company, so he could afford
Yeah.
to be able to send
But
us away.
it sounded like you said you didn't finish at St. Albans.
So I didn't finish high school at St. Albans.
Okay.
I got sent away to go and finish high school in the U.S. So I joined my brother in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
What happened?
I just left. My brother was about to finish
Okay.
his second year.
Oh,
and
so
he
it wasn't
couldn't
anything
take
it wasn't anything that happened with you. You just were like,
Well, let's just say I got into a little bit of a trouble here and there. I just
Okay.
wasn't getting along well with the
Okay.
culture. It was a
Okay.
shock. I mean, to come from
yeah.
a township and then boom, you're into the school.
Okay.
It's predominantly white kids, and
Okay.
one fight leads to the next, and then the
Okay.
next thing is
It
like
compounds. Yeah.
it compounds, and you're like, ish, you know.
Okay. So Mandla needs to
it's like-
finish somewhere else. So
it
you
might-
went. So you
yeah.
finished in the States.
I finished in the States. Yeah.
Okay.
Finished high school there, and then when I finished high school, it was a time for my brother finishing university.
Mm.
And then it's time to go home. I said, I'm not going back there, man. Nope.
No, fuck South Africa.
Fuck, I'm not going back. He's here, and
Okay.
he was like, no, we gotta go home. And I spoke to my parents. I was like, no, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Just let me, you know.
Okay.
And at that same time, there was this guy named Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Who had just finished doing She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah.
And then School Days, I was like, I'm not going back, Sip. My brother's name is Sip. I was like, I'm not going back, Sip.
Okay. So
And then I was meant to go and study electrical engineering. And when I got to university, I took filmmaking,
Yeah.
radio, TV, and film. I was like, what am I going to do with radio? What with an electrical engineer? You
Yeah.
know? Little do I know that electrical engineers are the ones that make televisions and stuff.
Yeah. Sure. So you went to film school.
So I went.
AFI.
I went to a place called Clark Atlanta University, a historically black college in Atlanta. I started there to do my undergrad.
Okay.
Got married and all of that stuff, and
shit.
I started interning at CNN. I worked at CNN World Report, and I realized I don't want to be indoors. CNN, as lovely as it is, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in news. And then I started working at a rental house to prep equipment,
Okay.
cameras and lenses, and
Okay.
then on weekends I would take the cameras and go
Okay.
and shoot music videos, short films. And then I
Okay.
became known as this dude in Atlanta. Word got around that, there's this African dude.
Mm.
If you want to go and shoot, he's got access to 35mm cameras, 16mm cameras.
Okay.
He comes with lenses, and he just wants to shoot. Just
Did
pay him enough for, you know what I mean?
Did the rental house know you were moonlighting?
No, not really. They
Okay,
didn't. You
okay,
do what
yeah.
you got to do, man.
Yeah,
you know?
no judgment. But I'm just curious whether they endorsed it.
They were like,
Okay.
yeah. I think they knew. They were just like, all right, he's doing what he loves
Turning
doing.
a little bit of a blind eye.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that when you did those
those music videos.
those Notorious B.I.G.?
Shot a ton of music videos. Collaborated with some of the best gaffers in the world now. I mean, Christian Apps, Oscar-winning gaffer. Started shooting a lot of music videos.
Okay.
Like, a lot. And then that led to me being recognized by some of the directors who picked me to say, okay, when I
Yeah.
shoot this music video, I want you to be there and all of that.
What
And
are
then-
some of the movies in this point in your life?
So there at that time, a big film, obviously low budget film, but it was big for us at the time as young filmmakers, comes into town. It's called Drop Squad.
Okay.
And the executive producer is none other than Spike Lee.
Okay.
And then, I was like, nah, I'm leaving this rental house stuff.
Okay.
And then Spike Lee comes into town, into Atlanta. We do a film called Drop Squad, right? And drop really means deprogramming and restoration of the mind, right? Of pride. Sorry, deprogramming, restoration of pride. That's what Drop Squad was. So it was like these guys who were still hung over from the Black Panther era would go to executives, and then they would drop them, deprogram, because they had started making commercials where women
Okay.
were shaking their,
Yeah.
it was degrading, and they were promoting hard liquor and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that was Eric LaSalle was the lead, as a matter of fact,
Okay.
in it.
So were you involved in
I
this
was in
film?
that. Yeah. I was in the camera department. I was a camera assistant.
Okay, so you got
working-
to work with Spike Lee.
Yeah, I got to work with Spike Lee's team.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, he was executive producer.
Yeah.
Producer.
Okay.
The director was David Johnson, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
The cinematographer was Ken Kelch. So I was a camera assistant on that. And that gave me my baptism of
Okay.
fire into the world of long form
Okay.
and feature film.
Okay.
And I was like, I like this. And then
Yeah.
the cinematographer, Ken Kelch, asked me, he's like, what do you really want to do, man? I said, I
Yeah.
want to do what you're doing. He said, like, then stop being
Yeah.
hovering around these cases, these lenses.
Yeah.
Start shooting. I was
Yeah.
like, I've been shooting. He said, okay, then stop this.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to
Take the
think,
lead- take the
the
lead.
lead.
Yeah.
Says because you are always going to think you need some validation from somebody. You need to do this. That's all. That's all an influx control.
Mm.
You know, start shooting. If you have access to cameras, start shooting short films. Start shooting and then put together a reel, and then you're a cinematographer. I said, just like that. He's like, yeah, just like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that the rest is came back home, and with the reel of work.
Yeah.
All these amazing music videos, and you're like, wow, you shot this? And this is 1993, 94, right? 93, 94, like literally 30 years ago. And couldn't break into the industry in South Africa.
Okay.
And because folks were like, nah, black
Surely not.
cinematographer?
Yeah.
You shot all of this? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, nah. And then I started a production company, Pambili
Okay.
Media, Pambili Productions, and then I would hire directors so
Okay.
that I could shoot as a cinematographer.
Okay.
So I would hire all these directors and shoot music videos for people like Ebony, Hugh Masekela. Hugh Masekela's first music video in South Africa.
Yeah.
I produced and shot it for Sony
Yeah.
Records, and that just gave me I
Yeah.
cut my teeth into here, and then at that same time we did the cinemas with my family.
Okay.
There was a momentum,
Yeah.
and then it just came to a point where it hit a brick wall. There was no more growth.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening. My wife and I at the time packed up, and she said, why don't you go and do your master's? You've always wanted to really focus on this craft.
Yeah.
And then moved to Los Angeles, and I enrolled at AFI, and I did my master's at the American Film Institute in cinematography.
Okay.
And and that was good.
Oh, lovely.
That was amazing, because
Okay.
you're in the heart of Hollywood,
Okay.
learning from the best in the world, great mentors.
Yeah. What were some of the films that you were watching at that point?
Oh my God. Badlands, Francois Truffaut, 400 Blows,
Okay.
Akira Kurosawa's
Okay.
Yojimbo, Rashomon,
Yeah.
obviously a lot of Spike Lee's films, a lot of Oscar Michaud's films.
I don't
There's
know.
a
I don't
big
know Oscar
resource.
Michaud.
Oscar Michaud was like in the 1920s and
Okay.
and early 1900s was the foremost black, entrepreneur filmmaker.
Oh, interesting.
Oh
Sorry,
my
I didn't
God.
even know the.
Oh, mate, you gotta have some of his films here, show at Best Biscope. And we
Okay.
break it. Oh, you gotta bring Oscar. You gotta have like an entire Oscar Michaud week.
Michaud.
Oscar Michaud, yeah. He was a novelist, then became a filmmaker. He's an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a black filmmaker.
Yeah. Before there was Hollywood, there was like Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago was the Hollywood, and then it
Yeah.
burned down.
Literally.
The city burned down.
Yeah.
And all of that migrated to the west,
Interesting.
that whole. Anyway, so films, I got great mentors. Like I had amazing mentors that I worked under.
Mm.
Who taught me. Like
Lovely,
Yeah.
What would you say is some of? I know it's a difficult question sometimes, but what are some of the greatest films of your greatest films? Our last film category that we ask guests is the film you would settle down with. What's the?
Like,
Yeah.
and then I was-
So we haven't actually articulated it too clearly in this chat, but the four films that we talk about at the video store are your four great loves, which are these lovers that have come to you at points in your life. So we
I
looked
would
at your
say-
puppy love was Jaws.
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
really speak too much about high school, but then we sort of saw your It's Getting Serious film,
Yeah.
which were the films that you got in your masters. But there's one last category, and this can be our sort of last thing we talk about, which is the film you would marry, the film you could settle down
I
with.
think it's because of the proximity to the filmmakers and to the cinematographer, and how that also just changed. I mean, there's a French filmmaker, Jacques Cocteau, I think is his name,
Yeah.
and they used some of the techniques that he had used. Yellen is one film, by
Yellen?
by a filmmaker from West Africa, Siseko is his name.
Okay.
You gotta have Yellen here.
Yellen. How do you
Yellen
spell
is
that?
magic. Yelen.
Okay.
Yellen, yeah.
Yellen.
So Yellen, Cocteau's films, but then at that time when I was there at AFI, there's a film that got made, and I think we may have watched it in your class when you
Yeah?
had Verts, Memento.
Christopher
by
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
So Christopher Nolan's cinematographer on this was a guy by the name of Wally Pfister.
Okay.
And Wally Pfister took me under his arm to mentor me.
This is in your AFI.
When I was at AFI,
Yeah.
his AFI thesis film was Senzeni Na. It was a film about South Africa. Like, what did we do
interesting.
wrong? So his thesis film was a film about South Africa.
Yeah.
And then he took me under his wing and he just mentored me. He had just finished doing Memento.
Okay.
So we would go to his house and he would break down Memento. Like,
That's
this
quite
is
a
what-
film, man.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what Chris, man, and then yeah.
Did he end up doing more stuff with Christopher
Oh
Nolan?
my God, did he? Yeah, he after Memento, they went on to do. After Memento, Wally went to do the movie called The Italian Job.
Yeah.
And he took
yeah.
me as his.
No, we know that film.
I shadowed him on The Italian Job, and then he went on to do Insomnia, which he brought to AFI. We broke it down with him. And then he went on to do Dark Knight,
Okay.
Interstellar.
Okay, he did it all.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And then it got to a point where he's like, I also want to direct.
Okay. No,
And
so then he tried to.
Then he tried, yeah. So he's directing a lot of TV stuff now.
Okay.
But yeah,
But
he
what a lovely,
Memento,
what a
yeah.
lovely person to have had reach a wing out for you
I
to
know.
go underneath.
Like I said, I got very fortunate.
What was his full name?
Wally Pfister.
Wally
For Wally, Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Pfister, Pfister.
Yeah. Okay, so you would say that perhaps Memento is the film you could settle down with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure there's many.
Oh my
and
God, there's a
someone-
lot. Rashomon, Memento, they are cousins, right?
Yeah, no, a lot of.
So Akira Kurosawa for me is the master,
Yeah.
But Memento at that time when I was at AFI, because it also is a film where the filmmakers were in front of me, and I could sit down and talk to them about shot by shot on it.
And
the
it's
whole
such
concept.
a complex puzzle of a movie.
It is, right?
It's
It's
wild.
an amazing
No,
psychological thriller.
If anyone hasn't seen Memento, it is
Oh, you gotta
very
watch
much
Memento.
worth it. It's such a masterclass in filmmaking, and of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
it was just so cool that was his film that broke Christopher Nolan. It was like what Lock, Stock was for Guy Ritchie. It's
Yeah.
like it was the movie that broke him out. But listen, Mandla, we can chat forever, and
I know.
I think perhaps one of the cultures I want to get across in the video store is much like a video store itself. Guests can come often, so hopefully we can have you again and we can just keep chatting. But I just think what you've managed, and just your life is just filled with such wonderful experiences. I think you bring such a unique part of yourself and Africa into what you do. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's beautiful to see what you have done here, man.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
Just
And
in awe. Like there's a cinema that you can come to.
Similar to that moment many, many years ago where you just popped in. I just appreciate the fact that you get it, and just thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for
yeah.
your time now, and
Russell, the other thing that's beautiful with what you're doing here is that emerging filmmakers at film schools after Vets, Boston, TUT and so forth, they now have a reference that they can be able to tap into when they start writing their thesis or preparing for their films for thesis and all of that in South Africa. And they can reference South African artists for their projects, right?
Yeah.
No longer is it a thing of that you gotta rush and watch Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Fine filmmakers,
Sure, no, of course.
But we've got a reference. We've got a video store that you can go to here in South Africa that you can tap into and say, okay, I once heard that guy talk about this movie. Let me go and watch that movie for my reference.
And you very much filling up the shelves of that video store with your work. So it's we've got one more movie on the shelf now. We've got Heart of the Hunter.
Heart of the Hunter on March 29th,
which is
Netflix.
A great South African story, as you said. It was this best-selling book. We've now got the movie. And you were the one, man. You were the one that pulled it off.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Okay.
Lekker, man. Have yourself a great day.
Yeah.
And I look forward to bumping into you soon.
Yeah, I'll be here quite often. Don't worry.
Good.
Lots
All
of love, huh?
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
All right. What a lekker chat.
It's awesome.
Good old Mandla. It was so great to come full circle, with him being my lecturer and now having this big movie on Netflix. It's all very exciting.
Awesome.
So it was really great chatting to him, really great hearing the process of how one puts this kind of Netflix film together in this modern day and dealing with Netflix and breaking it down step by step. I really appreciated that, and I hope everyone got some good out of it. How are you, Marigold?
I'm good. I'm very, very good.
Are you excited? You're off to a convention soon.
I am, yeah. It's gonna be intense.
What is the convention?
It is the South African International Tattoo Convention
Okay, and it is in Cape Town.
in Cape Town at the waterfront.
Okay, running from?
It is this weekend, so from
Okay.
the end of Easter weekend.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
Easter weekend.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be in Cape Town over the Easter weekend.
Okay, we should hang out.
We should go all the way to Cape Town to hang out. Are you going to do tattooing?
Yes.
I mean, I know that sounds like an obvious question, but maybe at a convention you
Yeah.
spend more time doing something else. But
some other artists go just to enjoy and get tattooed and network.
yeah, meet and chat and hobnob.
Yeah.
I don't know what that word means. but
Hobnob's great. That's a
it
great
feels like
word.
the right word too. Yeah, where you like kind of don't do anything but do a lot at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like you have people see you, and I've realized that that's a very important part of my life. It's just being somewhere,
Network.
and just exist.
Yeah.
What are you watching at the moment?
I have been watching Alone on Netflix.
Alone.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's like a survival kind of challenge. And it's not the most vegan show.
Because you are a vegan.
I am a vegan.
What is
for
it?
8
What does
years.
that mean that it's not a vegan show?
It's really cool, and I really like the agricultural part about it. But you get put in really like hectic conditions, so in the middle of Alaska or whatever,
Okay.
in the middle of nowhere, and you have to record your stay there. So it's like 90 days,
Okay.
and they have to build their own shelters and hunt their own food. And
Okay, but it's no other cameraman. You are the cameraman, which
yeah.
is cool because
It's very cool.
you realize how fake some of those shows
100%.
can be, because there you are stranded by yourself, but there's multiple camera angles,
Literally,
and
yeah.
so then it just doesn't
So you
feel
could-
real. So so this feels very real.
Yeah, you get given a GoPro and like a little tripod, and you basically just live off the land, which I think is really cool. But
Okay.
I showed it to Seth, and he was like, I can't watch this. I
'Cause-
can't watch these people hunting. It's so
Because they have to
gross."
kill animals.
Yeah.
But there's something kind of very natural about that.
Yeah.
Because I think to me, I think the biggest criticism is mass
Yes, and
farming.
factory farming.
the factory farming of it all, which is like, how do you kill that many cows?
100%.
But there's a very strong argument for like sustainable good hunting,
Yeah.
where it's like the meat is good for you. That animal, is just staring out into the distance and then is dead
Yeah.
a second later, as opposed to a horrible way in which nature could kill it, or how it could die in a factory farm.
And it's not like they're doing it as like a game, It's
Yes,
not. It's not
that part
fun.
as well,
It's
yeah.
like
It's to
they really
survive.
to survive, and they really struggle with the actual like killing of the animal.
Yeah, and also
so-
when that can feed you for a long time,
100%.
and
I think ethically, and if you look at like just historically as well, veganism today is a privilege, and
Yeah.
I can't ever enforce my veganism onto people by
Good for
being
you.
like, you have to, especially in South Africa where it's such a cultural, meat is such a cultural thing,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's not realistic.
the first vegans I met were a very long time ago while I was at varsity. So that is like 2000 and shit.
2000 shit.
2005, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
and they were Americans, and I didn't know what a vegan was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, milk's cool, right? Because the cow doesn't die. And they were like, let me tell you. And I was like, okay, thanks for the lesson. And we traveled the country once. Shout out to Mary Michael. And I realized that vegans at that point, at least in South Africa, were going to live very unhealthy lives.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of options for them. It was like a Steers veggie burger and like peanut
Bread.
butter.
Yeah, you can just have bread or chips.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not, they were the least healthy people in the whole group.
100%, yeah.
But now, of course, so much has changed.
Things are changing.
Yeah.
Excited to be back in Cape Town. It's
Yeah.
so many vegan options.
yeah, I'd imagine. Okay, so Alone on Netflix. Okay,
Yeah.
what else are you enjoying?
I mean, I think I did mention earlier, like I've been watching not the like coolest things. I've been watching
No.
Love Is Blind.
Nice. No judgies whatsoever. Leslie, my fiance, dived straight into the new season of Love Is Blind.
the new season's juicy.
It is absolute trash.
It's absolute trash.
But in the best way. It's
Yeah.
like a burger. It's like a McDonald's burger.
Literally. And I just kind
Feels
of
so great while you're eating it, and then you
need
just
it in
feel
the
horrible
background,
10
you know?
minutes later.
literally.
No, it's good background stuff. It is an interesting experiment. I do accept that. I do accept that as humans, as society, I think we are going to look at some of these TV shows as being quite interesting experimental case studies.
Yeah.
Do we use the dumbest subjects? Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, could that represent the humanity? Probably not. But
It felt a little bit like
is the average
idiocracy.
person that stupid?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I was like, where do they find these people?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, what would I ever find someone if I got put in one of those pods?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I would be overthinking it. I'd be too smart to some degree. Like, I'd have too much brain activity. Not to say that I'm smart. It's just,
you are smart, but
but I think I'd overthink it. And, yeah. There's something great. I don't know whether you've seen it about how great the world would be if you were to just be slightly stupid.
yeah,
Like, the world would be an amazing place.
yeah,
Like, you wouldn't think about Ukraine. You wouldn't think about Gaza.
no.
You wouldn't think about
You had like just a
inequality.
little mundane
you would
life.
just like
and-
go through your life. Like, life
Yeah.
would be amazing.
yeah, or would it?
I don't know.
This is the thing.
I don't know. But you mentioned it, I think, a while ago, and funny enough, we started watching it last night. Painkiller.
Painkiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was you. Hey.
I think so.
This is
think so.
this is the biopic on OxyContin.
Yes,
and,
yes,
and,
that was
and
me. Yeah.
Matthew Broderick is the Sackler.
I've
guy.
been watching a lot because Netflix did bring out just a bunch on
Yeah, there's a lot about that, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
There's Dope Sick. There's a bunch of those other ones, and then of course there's a few documentary series. But this is now the sort of biopic, and it follows like the women who were the sellers to the doctors.
Yes. Okay, yes.
And it's
This is
Matthew
me,
Broderick
yeah.
is the main Sackler, and it just shows you just how America works and how they could have gotten that thing passed and how they got it passed.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this like legal drug
Yeah.
peddling, and just how bad that opioid
Like
crisis was in America.
Dallas Buyers Club as well. I mean, that to
Yeah.
add into the...
Yeah, it's sort of similar, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like how broken the system is,
Yeah.
and what you have to go through to get drugs, the good ones and the bad ones, like that. Yeah, wild. And so we were watching a bunch of Painkiller, and I really think it's good, and I think it's important that everybody sees it, because now we're getting to that point where that was in the sort of 2000s and beyond, and it's so great that we can use shows like this to tell that story, where it's like, this is what happened,
Yeah.
down to like that moment, that decision, that day, that person.
Yeah.
And so history can write itself, which
Yeah.
is important. But then after about 2 episodes where you just see these people strung out and just like high and their life is falling apart. After a while, I was like, let's just watch something else.
Yeah, Love is Blind.
Yeah, so we watched Blown Away. Have you seen Blown Away?
Oh, the
Which is
glass.
glass blowing,
Yes, the glass.
which is also on
Super
Netflix.
cool.
It's great, and it's like, it's artistic, it's fun, it's interesting, it's something different.
Yeah.
And you're like, sometimes you just need a blown away.
Yeah. I did a little Queer Eye as well the other night.
Queer Eye is
Yeah.
amazing.
Just like I'm just
Queer
putting
Eye
on
is so-
any reality show to
Yeah.
put in the background while I just
Yeah.
do my
What is the
My work.
what is the work that you do?
lots of painting. So
Okay.
I'm painting a banner, and I've got different flash that I hand paint, which is designs that people can choose
To get a tattoo.
to get
Yeah,
tattooed.
so you got to draw them out, and so someone can pick them out on a
100%,
card
yeah.
and say, I want that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So you need this background stuff
I do.
because it's so interesting now that people are starting to reveal some of the feedback they get when they submit to a streamer. And one or two feedbacks that I saw, I can't remember where it was from, but it was just exposed that this term now exists, where the person, the streamer said it's not second screen enough, and they were like, "What does that mean?" And they
Yeah.
were like, "We now have to consider the fact that most people are watching where the Netflix show on the TV is the second screen. They've
Yeah.
got their phone in front of them,
Yeah.
so they need to be able to follow it easier."
Yeah.
And this person was like,
That's
"What?
so crazy.
I want to make art. I want to make a film." So in some cases, it's
Yeah.
not going to work. But in many cases, like the TV shows, it's very interesting that they're considering the fact that you're going to do other work.
And people do. They just sit on their phones, which also bugs me. I must be
Yeah,
honest.
it's not
when you're like
necessarily the best
watching
habit.
something and you just have someone there and you're like, "Did you see that? That was amazing!" And they're like, "What?"
Well, so funny.
know?
I sometimes call Les out for it, but I realize like she's very much able to watch both.
Multitask, yeah.
It's a wonderful
It's a skill.
attribute of a female.
I
that
don't
you're
have
able
it.
to- oh, you don't have it?
Yeah, I
Where
can
you're
listen.
able to be in two places.
Yeah, we've been watching, listening to D&D campaigns lately,
Oh.
and that's been really fun because I don't have to watch anything because everyone's just narrating what they're doing.
It's just a narration.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Yeah.
I forget that you're also into Dungeons and Dragons.
love Dungeons and Dragons.
You and Cole should be in a campaign together.
I would love that. Yeah,
I should actually even give it a
should we
try.
all do it?
I should give it a try. I don't know whether I have that time though.
A video store D&D campaign. We can like be movie characters.
That could be amazing.
Yeah.
That could be real interesting. Let's consider that. I finished The Gentleman,
Okay.
which is something you might enjoy,
Okay.
which is on Netflix, which is a Guy Ritchie. He made the film, The Gentleman, and then now this is him making the TV show.
Okay.
You don't have to have seen the film, but it's that real Guy Ritchie, interesting characters from
Okay.
Cockney to nobleman. And they just hold court when they talk. You know what I
Okay.
mean? They're these characters that just stand there with such confidence talking, and that you listen to them and they talk in that sort of, it's Cockney English, but it's poetic at the
Yeah.
same time. You know?
But you can get it. Like,
Oh,
you can
totally.
understand.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So
totally.
it's not like
And it's
chatter and all the Cockney slang.
yeah, there's a little bit of that, but it's charming. It's done in a
Okay.
way that everyone can
Follow.
follow. But yeah, it tells the great story of this guy who was the son of a duke, but is right at the start of the show. His dad dies, and he becomes the duke. But he gets caught up in a whole world of drug dealing and
Okay.
killing and all sorts. So it's like an
Netflix and
unraveling.
the drugs, eh?
Netflix and the drugs, the good and the bad. But yeah, lekker. I think there's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so when do you leave for the convention?
I leave on Wednesday morning. We're driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were an amazing DJ the other day.
That was awesome.
I have to say.
That was so fun.
It was so cool. Short Straw had a show at Sonage for St. Paddy's Day. And what was very cool is we were coming back to that show. So we played that show last year. It was such a fun time that they asked us back. And they were very keen on having us help figure out who else could play. And we wanted to get a cool DJ, and so I thought of you, and so I submitted you
Thank you.
into the mix.
It was so fun.
It's a tough slot because right at the end, there's a handful that go home.
Yeah.
But for those that stay,
It was cool.
I thought you did such a good job.
Thank you.
And it was so cool to like watch you do that work.
Yeah.
There, your music came in and it was like cool, like 80s, like solid dance music.
Yeah.
You yourself kind of like put your head down and just danced.
Yeah.
And that was that was 100% enough. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
it,
You didn't
yeah.
have to do much.
No.
You didn't have to engage. You were just like, I'm having the best time, and that was infectious.
That's kind of was my strategy a bit, because I think I overthought it a lot. And I was like thinking about Short Straw, and when I used to like religiously come to your shows and be like, okay, cool, it's a bush, let's go,
Okay.
and like what people would like to hear. But then I was like, okay, but things are different, and maybe there's a different audience now,
Yeah.
and that audience, when I got there, I could not read. I was like, there are so many different people. Like, how
Yeah.
am I going to keep all of these people together? And then I was like, just have fun. Just
yeah,
dance.
because you were like, what do I do? Do I just stick to the plan? I was like, whatever your plan is, I'm sure it's going to work. Like, you just stick to your
It
plan.
was really fun. It was
which
really
says a
fun.
lot about creativity and art. And, it's
Yeah.
like, you got to just stick to your plan.
Yeah. it was
If
super
you're happy and if you're having fun,
It was
then that-
awesome.
then
The
that-
sound.
counts.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the sound in that venue is
And the
amazing.
lighting. It was one of the coolest.
Yeah, no,
Coolest
it was
little
lots of
sets I've
fun,
ever
and it was
played.
great to have you because you generally play at like Smoking Kills,
Smoking Kills.
which is like the loveliest of dive bars,
yeah.
where it's like
yeah.
quite a small room,
intimate.
and there's a lot of fun to those small rooms.
Yeah. I played on Friday at Smoking Kills. Yeah, Friday.
Okay. You're doing some interesting stuff
Yeah.
between tattooing and DJing and working at the video store.
Yes. I live a pretty cool life.
It is lovely. Hey, there's some moments where you just got to pinch yourself.
Yeah.
All right, Magic. Thank you for a lovely day.
Thank you.
It was lovely having you.
Let me go clean.
And let me go.
Clean.
No, now we're going to pack up.
Okay.
Now it's the end of the day.
Okay.
So we're going to go pack up and we're going to go home and good luck at the convention.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, cheers. Thank you for listening thus far. Our home base is thevideostore.co.za and we'll see you again next week. All right, cheers. Bye.